Why, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Relatively Young podcast. I am Noah Young, and with me is my sister,
Allison.
Hey, we've decided to do a little podcast for you today.
Yeah, thanks for that, Noah. Why exactly are we doing this? Well, we have what we would consider to be a very awesome, very large, very loud family. We miss hanging out with them so much. Um, our dad is one of 12, our mom is one of 6, which means that if you thought you had a large family, you got nothing compared to us. So even family parties in this virtual day and age, they are the best kind of chaos you could possibly imagine. Man, lively debates, nerdy discussions, funny stories. It's a fun time all around. And with whatever 2021 is shaping up to be, apparently just as weird as 2020, we really wanted a guaranteed reason to speak with all of our relatives, all the people that we love, every single week.
Yeah, our family is absolutely enormous, like my sister said, and we're just so diverse. We have people with crazy jobs, different hobbies, niche interests that are, that are so specific that, there's somebody who's got to be into it, and we're related to them. So, we got Star Wars fans, Trekkies, firemen, policemen, Backstreet Boys fans, NSYNC fans, Cubs fans, Sox fans, everything but actual ceiling fans. But the key to our family is that we would rather be in a loud room debating our opinions than apart in any way. So, this pandemic was really hard on us because, we're so used to seeing our giant family almost every week. And all of a sudden, it went from every week to 0. So we just wanted to have a reason to, a guaranteed reason to go and talk to at least one of our cousins every week. So
yes, aunts, uncles, yeah. Essentially, we have many people with lots of different opinions. Come join us. Come join the Young family. Laugh along. Hear some stories. Grab a drink. Be relatively young again.
Relatively young again.
When you're here, you're
You can't
family, but
family
not really,
no,
because that's probably copyright. So
let's do this.
you know, you know.
No. Oh God, Allison, we're gonna get sued now. No. So yeah.
I guess we should start with a little bit more about us, right? Who are you,
Oh, that's
Noah?
right. Oh, who am I? So I am Noah Young. I'm an audio engineer extraordinaire, I suppose. Well, I wouldn't say extraordinaire. I would say past. I make it look easy for the lay people. No, I am definitely the sound guy extraordinaire. I have written down here particular purveyor of all things nerdy. So
Damn.
yeah, I definitely have some hobbies and interests that skew to the nerdy side. Give me sci-fi TV shows any day and I'll be happy. So
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I am a huge Star Wars fan. This is probably the greatest time to be a Star Wars fan. It's tons of things are on the horizon for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Tons of things are on the horizon for Star Wars. So I am just in awe every day of the news with all this positivity coming around, all these new ideas for Star Wars that are being explored. So I'm super excited to see what the future holds for that.
Yeah.
But just because I love Star Wars doesn't mean that the sarcastic and dry humor doesn't come out from my sound guy side. So
it
for
works.
all of the joy and love that I feel for Star Wars, I have to balance that out with my grumpiness because I'm a sound guy. So yeah,
when we say particular, we mean particular.
No, sound guys have been consistently voted to have the grumpiest profession of all. So I'm like, well, great.
So you are grumpy cat.
I don't feel grumpy all the time, but when I'm on a show, it just comes out of me. It's insane. It's like a switch. It's like I'll go into it like thinking like, hey, you're starting to feel grumpy. Don't do that. Don't do that. And if I don't actively police it, it gets bad. it's a stereotype, but it's so freaking true.
Aw.
You're dealing with shithead musicians all day, or poophead musicians all day, and yeah, it's never fun.
No, that's okay though. That's why
But
you go home at the end of the day. You
that's why
watch
you
a
go
good
home at the
Star
end of
Wars
the day.
movie or
You
a
have to
TV
flip
show,
on some Star Trek.
and then you call me afterwards to talk about it because I also am very into weird, nerdy things. So,
That's pretty
introducing
much
myself, I'm Allison. I wrote down whether we need deluxe. I'm a meteorologist. I like environmental science. I like GIS, digital
She
cartography.
loves environmental science so much she's a master of
I'm a
science.
master of science. I think science history is fascinating. I am one of those people that once my brain latches onto something, I go down the rabbit hole and just completely immerse myself in as much knowledge as I can possibly find. That applies to all things strict science. That also applies to science fiction. It applies to random books that I like. It applies to random history facts that I learn. So I tend to always just get stuck in those loops, constantly looking for new fun things to investigate. Another way that I would describe myself, I'm walking a fine line here as I sit in a house that me and my husband moved into a couple of months ago, but it still has a lot of boxes. I would
Yeah,
describe
definitely.
myself as a pack rat that's probably disguised as like a fun DIYer. I like to
Yeah, I
find,
feel like
yeah,
a lot of DIYers have that pack rat
you know,
gene.
especially I just really like to find like I liked going to thrift stores and finding weird
Yeah,
things. I like
dangerous.
going like if
That's
you're
how you
walking
end up
around,
with. That's how you end up with a storage bedroom.
it happens. I also just like finding, yeah, like random things that people would throw away. I like finding and making it into art, putting it in my garden. I'm like one of those people, painting stuff like absolutely crazy colors and then just saying, look, I've made art. So um am I a hoarder? I hope not.
I don't know. I would say no,
Not
but
yet.
whatever. The jury's still out.
The slope is slippery, let's just
Yeah,
say.
right.
I think something else that could be used to describe myself and Noah, we've always, said it in this voice. Like, I'm kind of like, well, why the hell not? Like, let's just go for it. Let's just try it.
And I was always like, "Pff, why the hell not?
Yeah.
Let's try it." So
So, I don't know.
somewhere in the middle there's a balance that works.
Yes. And it makes for great discussions about pop culture things, about um, other topics that we both find interesting. I know, I kind of listed some of my more environmental science stuff, but yeah, huge Star Trek fan, huge Star Wars fan, Marvel stuff. Me in particular, I also like Winona Earp. I also grew up on some of these, when the post-apocalyptic YA genre started
Oh,
taking off. That
that
was
was
primo
oh
Allison.
man, that was the time of Allison's reading
Oh,
days.
loved
She
reading.
was
Absolutely love. To this day, still love reading, but
loved
really hit my peak in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
obsessed with reading.
I don't think there was a moment where you weren't reading. It was
Yeah,
insane. It was insane.
I like brought a book with me everywhere I went.
Everywhere you went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other like interesting things that I find fascinating. I try to keep up to date on environmental news, on current events, which has been interesting this last week.
Oh,
Let's just
yes, it
say.
has. Yes, it
I should say for the record, we're filming this on the 12th. So
Yes.
that's been pretty fun. And then, yeah, I just, in general, I love a good story. I like, as someone with more of an analytic brain, I think I like taking apart stories and saying, well, why did the character do this? Why did they put this plot point here? What formula are they following or not following, and why? So that's kind of how I approach a lot of things in our discussions. What about you, Noah?
Yeah, I feel I judge works of fiction pretty harshly. I don't know. I'm kind of particular in what I like and what I don't. I like things that are adherent to what has come before, especially if with super long lasting franchises like Star Trek and Star Wars. You can't. There was a quote from, I think it was Alex Kurtzman, when he was talking about Star Trek, and he was like, I'm going to butcher this. This is paraphrased. Pardon me, Alex. Well, no, don't pardon me. He essentially was like, yeah, there's 50 years of Star Trek canon. It is impossible to get that all straight. So we just don't even try. That quote rubs me absolutely the wrong way. It's not a quote, it's a paraphrase. I know it's probably not even the right one, but how, especially if it's your job to like, hey, we're hiring you to know Star Trek. We're going to give you like $1 million. Yeah, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch every episode in order, and then I'll get back to you on my Star Trek script. So it's just, I don't know. I like it when you can tell that the people who are working on the project are enthusiastic about that. So Star Wars, especially now, after the sequel trilogies, smoke is starting to clear. We're getting actual Star Wars with some love behind it now. So we should be seeing more of Luke Skywalker and more of Boba Fett and all that. So that'll be sweet. Yeah, I don't know. I like I'm nerdy. I like all my stuff.
You like some car stuff. You like
I do like car
mechanics
stuff. Yeah,
You're
I
a big
to,
audio visual dude. Like
anything that
stuff.
I can build. I like building stuff. Working like from not necessarily from scratch, but like some assembly required stuff. Yeah, that's right up my alley. So
yeah. So go ahead.
I got a welder for during my using my initial stimulus check. It was like, oh man, you gonna save some of this? I was like, well, I'll save about half.
Or
I'll save about half, and then I'll make some. So far, all I've made are some birds out of golf clubs,
heck
and then
yes.
I made a couple like lawn ornament stuff.
Yeah, with little flowers and things. Like I said, to put in gardens and stuff.
Yeah,
you're turning into kind of a pack rat like me.
I wonder how I could have gotten that
It's crazy.
and started doing garden stuff, huh?
I know. Insanity.
Yeah.
Well, between the both of us, we have just a huge array of different topics that we, try to keep up with. Our family has even more crazy topics. We have teachers, we have nurses, we have Democrats, Republicans, any different opinion, any different topic, kind of like we teased in the beginning. There is a family member out there to answer any question Noah and I can come up with pretty much.
Oh yeah. So I know that there's a text chain for math help. I know that there is what else do we have?
There's a Snapchat story where we frequently post pictures of our bonfires, and
that is true.
It's become like a low key not competition.
Yeah, it's a competition.
Okay, we'll go with it. Yeah, just running emails. We have Facebook. I don't know if you're on this Facebook group, actually, Facebook group for recipes, for just recipes that we are using all the time. Well, come on. I'll add you later.
See how there's so many people. There's so many people that it literally things will just fall through the cracks. You go, I could have swore I told you. It's like, no, you must have told so and so. But
exactly.
Yeah, we all look alike too. So it's like, I don't know.
So I mean, we're doing this not only just to have a reason to talk to everybody. This allows us to record conversations with our family for years to come. We have the time. We might as well put in the energy. Right. We're putting it out to the universe as well, putting it out to the world. So I guess, Noah, if you had to describe our family with like one story, what would be the story that you'd pick?
So there was a story that came to mind. I forget how old I was. Somewhere in my early teens. I was still in, I don't know if I was in high school yet. But we are, our family would take trips to the Wisconsin Dells every year.
Very fun.
And it wasn't just like, my immediate family is my sister and my parents. No. It was the whole young family. So how many people would you say there are?
Well, geez,
that would go regularly.
40?
40? I was going to say 50 or 60.
Yeah, 50, probably more like 50.
Probably more like 50 because
I think over the years
about 60.
And over the years, people had kids. So then,
Yeah, and then
they
it's
got married, and
right. And some people would be busy and all
and
stuff
then
like that. But
and then sometimes people's like cousins would come, and it just extends.
friends,
If
it
if
got
that isn't enough to understand our family, then what is it?
so it's like day 2 of this 3-day excursion up to this water park. And so we have what's called a cabana, which is like, there's enough of us to pay for it, so it wasn't like a huge deal. But we get a waitress or a waiter who's like going around taking orders for drinks and food and stuff. We get like a private, the cabana itself is like a little private tent area. But the chairs are different than the rest of the commoner chairs, the plebeians with their plastic PVC chairs. So we're the first wave of us has arrived, because some of us would sleep in because they got a little tipsy the night before.
It happens.
It happens. It happens. It's no shame. So the first wave of us arrive. It's I forget who was with me, but it was me and Poppy. And
Poppy is our grandfather.
is our grandfather. We wheeled him in his wheelchair. He was pretty old at the time, so we wheeled him out, and we were starting to set up our area. So all of a sudden, some random lady walks up and just casually grabs one of our chairs, flips it around to her table that was bordering ours. And the instant I saw that chair turn around, I looked at Poppy, and the look on his face was that of like, not desperation, but like more confusion. And he's like, excuse me, ma'am, those are not your chairs. And this man has been in a wheelchair for, not for any physical reason. He was just weak. He couldn't walk long distances, but in a wheelchair, springs out of that wheelchair, bolts across our table area. Ma'am, do not take that chair. That's our chair. Ma'am, I'm sorry, you can't. And oh my God, it was like, I don't know. It's like when you see this, your grandfather who's like, kind of nearing the end, but all of a sudden everything just came back. Boom.
Yeah.
I got to get that chair.
For the family. Our honor depends on it.
I cannot let them encroach on our territory.
Oh.
And it was just him chasing down this poor woman for flipping a chair around. So
R.I.P. Poppy.
I wouldn't know now that I'm thinking back on it. Does that reflect us in a good way or a negative way? I don't know. I love it.
We would do anything for family, and Poppy
would chase after a very nice old woman.
Yeah. He sprung into action there to defend the family.
You may be lazy, but we'll get up on a dime. So careful.
New family motto.
Right.
I guess if I had to describe the family in one story, it would be this one. So we were at a cousin's first birthday party, maybe, and my cousin's kid, I should say, and I think it was it was kind of nice out. We were all outside. There were like these big tents we were sitting under, so I was like talking with my aunts. I had on like a cute little like kind of summery springy dress. And on the other side of the party, there's like a little kiddie pool that was, like those half filled up ones that kind of go up to like your waist. So not like the tiny dinky
we
ones.
would all just put our feet in there and
everyone, the little kids were splashing in and out. People would put their feet in there, take a break or whatever, but I wasn't really over there. However, everybody else had kind of taken a turn going in the pool, he's kicking around. And I was like, I'm kind of good. I don't really want to. Well, unbeknownst to me, it was decided for me that I did need to go in the pool. So my lovely brother here and one of our other cousins picked me up, threw me right in the pool. I was drenched, completely drenched. I was like, oh, well, I kind of deserved it being the only one being a stick in the mud, being like, no, I don't want to go in the pool. But that's neither here nor there. And we have a history in our family of pool parties and of being thrown in the pool if you refuse to go.
It is not a new thing.
Uncles get thrown in the pool, aunts
Oh.
get like everybody gets thrown in the pool at some point. So I get out of the pool and I look to my cousin whose house it was, and I'm like, Mary, do you have anything dry? She looked at me and went, anything dry? And I just went, yeah, just anything dry. I got to change out of this. And she went, oh, you asked for it. So we go upstairs, and in my head, I'm thinking she's going to give me a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt or something. Nope. I got a prom dress. Her old prom dress. I got these kind of like platform shoes. I got like a very fancy kind of lacy shawl. And that was what I got to wear for the remainder of the party as my real dress and my clothing was drying in their dryer.
It was
And
spectacular.
yeah, so that was me for the rest of the party. There's plenty of pictures out
Oh yeah,
there.
we'll throw you a couple pictures over that.
Yeah. In fact, that is for one of our group messaging things that we have. I, in that dress, am the cover photo. So that's always pretty fun. But I mean, I guess that's our family in a nutshell. Mary asked, like, is this okay? And I'm like, you know what? I said it. I set myself up for this. So yes, of course, this is okay. Let's roll with it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I deeply appreciate how sarcastic, how funny, how fun we are. We're just always looking for a good time.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's our family in a nutshell. If you think that this is something for you, we want you to stay. We want you to listen to us talk about, fun, interesting things. Not only will it be reactions to new material that's getting released, like for instance, I know there's a lot of cool Marvel stuff coming out.
Tons of Marvel stuff, tons of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
There's
But also
time to be into science fiction right now.
Yeah. But in addition, we might also have some, random other topics that we've thought of. I know some people in our family are very passionate about music, so we might be doing
We got some musicians. I know that we also have some STEM aficionados.
Oh, for
some
sure.
Science. So there's plenty of things to look forward to. So
yes.
If you're thinking that this is up your alley, there's a button that you can click that I think you know what it does. It'll make sure that you can find us in the YouTubes. So just go ahead and click it.
You can find us.
Yeah. So without further ado, we were talking about some stories from our other cousins, but we happen to have one of our cousins with us now. We have our cousin Ben Young,
who will be
Benjamin Baller Young, who will be on with us, and you should see him in the next clip actually. So
for us, we're gonna do some behind the scenes magic, but for you, we'll be back in 2 seconds.
In this wonderful Tuesday.
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
We're happy to have you, man.
Heck yes.
Yeah. So I think Ben has a couple stories that he wants to share, because I know that we were talking about what it means to be a part of the Young family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that people outside of our family don't really get a chance to experience. So if you had one story that you think could summarize the experience of meeting the Young family, what do you think? What would that be?
All right, so I got a specific story. It's one my mom always tells us. So she tells us that the first time she went over to Nana and Poppy's house, it was like a gathering or something like that. I'm not sure what it was for. They're all sitting down at the dinner table, and Poppy leans over to the right, lets out a big fart, and everybody's like, "Oh, dinner's ready!" And everybody starts laughing. And my mom's like, "What? Like, he just farted at the dinner table. Like, what's going on?"
Oh, that is amazing. I've never heard that story, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You let him get away with these shenanigans?
Oh my goodness.
God, what a great introduction to the family. Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, welcome. Hey,
yep.
I know you're new here.
That's why I love it.
Oh my goodness. We should also establish for the record too that Ben's father and our father are brothers. That's how we're related. This is our wonderful cousin Ben. I know
there's the order of siblings. I couldn't tell you where Scott is on that.
Scott, how old is he? 54, 54, 55?
I know Scott is the third of the 4 brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
But I
then
don't-
Dad is the first brother, right?
Dad
No,
is the second brother.
Okay. So 2 and 3.
Yes.
All right, that makes more sense.
And
They would always be picking on one another.
and then you add all of the I'm good until like I think I'm good until Jerry. And then after that, I
I'm
skip a
continuing.
couple in between. And then I'm like, oh, then at the end, it's Jenny, Amy, Barbie. Like,
Any
it
Amy
goes-
Barnum.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the last 3.
and then it's, I think that middle part is where I get lost. So one
Yeah.
of these days,
Lots to remember.
I
Yeah.
know. And one of these days, someone will come on and do the whole
Right. We'll have to
because
come up with
everybody knows
some-
it.
Yeah.
but-
Well,
Oh, yeah.
some way to some numeric device, just so that we can, I don't know, be easier to recall.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So I guess
I definitely have a story that involves Ben. I don't know if we want to go into it now.
I
But,
think now's the best time to go into
yeah.
it.
So this kind of jumps off of we were talking about our Dells trips in our intro. So I know that there was a year where the Wisconsin Dells, we would always go to Wilderness Lodge. So it's a little plug for Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
Woo.
They put in these 2 water slides. I forget what they were called, but they were just these death traps is what I would call them. And it was essentially the slide was vertical. It was 90 degrees, and there was a platform that you would stand on. And so you'd stand here, lean your back against the slide, and then instead of like jumping down the slide, the platform would just give out from underneath you, and you would fall to your death, presumably. You don't know. You can't see. You probably
can't.
it's a tank full of sharks underneath you, as far as you know. So, so it's the first year these slides are open, and of course, all of us are like, dude, yes, we're all going on the slide. So the cousins all kind of migrate over to this newer water park that they had built,
And especially because whenever there was a new slide, we had to check it off the list, saying that we had been on every slide in the park. So we had to go. You have to go.
Gotta represent.
Ugh.
So yeah, Ben, what were your thoughts and opinions on your water slide experience? Because we have a version of the story that might differ from yours.
So honestly, me personally, I'm terrified of heights. I do not like heights. And I don't know if you guys remember, but like all the way at the top when you have to walk up, it's like a little platform.
Oh yeah, it's terrifying.
You are so high in the air, and I was terrified. I was so scared.
Yep.
And I remember just getting ready to go up the first time, and I look up because when you're at the bottom, you can look up and see the bottom, and it's clear. It's see-through, so it looks like you're standing on nothing. And I was horrified. I was so scared. I was so scared. I wanted to give up, but
yeah, it'd be different if it wasn't like you're standing on this platform and then there's like a plexiglass coffin lid that seals you in, so you can bang on the glass, like you can't really talk to your family or friends. You're just like, I hope I don't die.
Yep.
And then you're just gone. They just drop you. So most of the cousins are up waiting in line to go. And Ben, the brave soul that he is, you must have been like either first or second, I forget, but it was like early on.
it was early.
We used
Definitely
you
early.
as like,
Yep.
Ben did it, you have to do it too. So you get on we watch you get on this platform. You're encased in the coffin. And you have to stand like this with your back, the water's dripping down you,
Mm-hmm.
and they're supposed to give you like a countdown to press the button. But man, I think the lifeguard on duty was a friend of ours, and he definitely did not give you that countdown because he was like, it's not working, and then he just presses the button and you're gone.
Oh yeah.
In that instant, he presses the button. You go from I can do this to this is the most terrifying thing in the world. Oh my God, I've made a mistake. And you adhere yourself to the sides of the plexiglass, and then all we hear is the of your hands as gravity wins and holds you down. So that was as far as we knew, that was the last we had seen of you. We thought you died right there.
He's dead.
There's
He's
no
dead
way
now.
back from that.
We all kind of looked.
Even if he does come back, we just force him to jump off of a cliff.
We felt so
So he might
bad.
not want to talk to us.
Oh, it's
Oh.
okay.
We felt
No.
so bad, but we looked around at each other and we were like, well, if
No,
Ben did it, we all
I-
do it
I'll
now.
tell you what, I felt bad for maybe 5 seconds afterwards, and then I turned and looked at Madeline,
Oh.
who was equally petrified as you.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard this part, Ben, because you were already
No.
down the slide. You were getting off.
You
Oh,
gotta,
Yeah.
your legacy was lasting.
Allison, I think you got to tell Maddie's.
So our cousin Maddie, another one of our cousins, she was next. She saw Ben go down.
It wasn't that she was next.
Suction with the
I don't
arms.
think it was that she was next. I
No?
think what happened was we realized that she just watched Ben die and was
Yeah.
freaked out.
Yeah,
And so we go, all right, well, we can't let Maddie quit.
because you know what she did? She saw you go down, immediately turned around and went to go down the stairs. And I
Nope.
think, I don't remember who it was, maybe Jake. I think he like body blocked her and was like,
Jake.
no,
It's like, nope.
get in there because we got to check them all off the list. We've all done it. Ben just did it. You got to do it. She's getting in there. She's shaking like a leaf. She's like trying to like get her place. She's shaking the whole
It's
time.
scary. It's scary.
It is. It is
I
terrifying.
down the stairs.
But like one of the other lifeguards is watching our family. Like, why are they guilting this poor shaking child getting into this slide? We're like, you got to do it. You're not part of this family if you don't do it. Like it was a whole big thing. She's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So she did it. She felt so proud afterwards. And she looked at us after we all kind of came down one after another. We heard her giant scream as she was going down and then again disappeared into the vat where everybody goes for that slide because you can't see anything. It's crazy. Then when we got out, she was like, all right, checked it off the list. Not again. Never again.
Yeah, and then I met her at the bottom because I chickened out.
That would have been so funny if that was how that really happened.
Oh yeah, you decided you wanted to. I took the long way down. You took the short way. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a lot of stairs. It's definitely
It's definitely a lot of stairs. You get your workout in the bells.
it's definitely a long walk back down. Long walk of shame.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
could go
Well,
on and on
we
about
could talk
stories.
the Dells are an infinite place to draw stories from.
Oh
So
my God, they are.
Absolutely.
But one of the other fun things about this podcast that we are trying to make a thing is that we've, talked our family up about how we just like so many different things. So I figure what we could do next is maybe talk a little bit about the news, but then get into a subject that I think you are very excited to talk about, as well as us. Some of the college sports stuff that's been going on, especially that football game last night.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so really quickly, I guess for context, not just for our family so they can know kind of what's going on while we're giving all these stories and fun opinions, but just I guess for the world too. We're kind of like still in the middle of a coup attempt in the US, which is where we live. So that's been pretty interesting to say the least. We've found out more information as the week has gone on since it happened this past Wednesday. It's Tuesday today. I think the most current up-to-date news is that Trump just spoke for the first time since it all happened. He essentially said, my speech was analyzed by many, and I think everyone found it very appropriate, which is kind of like, what is happening? Does he actually believe that?
Hundreds of thousands of people approved my speech.
Yeah. We're learning more and more that, there's plans to do nefarious things at our state capitals, at our U.S. Capitol again. So I don't know, man. Domestic terrorism. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Ben, what do you think?
So, I mean, honestly, I was incredibly surprised when I first, because I'm not a big I don't wake up in the morning and turn the news on. I'm more of like I see news through like social media or stuff like that. And I just remember seeing pictures of these guys just smashing windows, walking around, taking pictures, no mask on, fully identifiable. And I was just like, wow. like this is a real thing. Like this is actually happening
Yeah.
right before my eyes. Like
Right.
I was surprised. You know, it's sad. Honestly, it's very sad that
Yeah,
people get
definitely.
that frustrated and that immature where they think that they have to storm the Capitol.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's tough.
I think that sums it up. Frustrated and immature.
Definitely.
And danger. Like danger.
It is
It's
very
just
dangerous.
ridiculous.
I definitely look around, and the more I watch those videos, I just think to myself, I'm like, there was no plan. There was no plan ahead of time. There was like, I remember there's a video of like people smashing windows, and there's like this old lady with like a Trump hat with a MAGA hat on. She's like, oh, stop the steal. I'm like, yeah, okay. There's definitely a degree of who was involved, and I don't know. It's still weird just to see all these. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess we're gonna just storm Capitol, any buildings with government people in them, but I don't know. No masks too. That I mean, everybody was concerned about COVID, but I was like, at a certain point when you're in the middle of a riot, I think COVID's the last thing going through your head, right? You know, so
Yeah.
I was more concerned with what has been happening now, which is, oh man, it is so easy to find all these people because they just walked into a government building without a mask on. They didn't even like, oh, maybe I should hide my identity while I'm on the news.
While I'm taking the podium
While
out
I'm
of the room.
committing this crime, I should probably hide my identity.
Yeah. Well, I got my feet kicked up on Pelosi's desk.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
And all of those people are so the craziest thing that I had heard was the if they wanted to, they could technically charge all of the rioters that they've arrested with felony murder as accessories to the murder of that one police officer or the one District of Columbia cop.
Mhm.
So that's like the absolute worst case scenario is they get like felony trespassing plus felony murder. So
Yeah.
either way, up shit creek without a paddle. So
Yeah,
Seems like
to say the least.
amongst many other things, like our country in general is having a moment here, trying to figure all that out. And I know it's been about a week, and we have talked with other various family members about it in the meantime, just because it's like, how do you not?
It's still like the thing to talk about. It's still
Right.
like the most relevant topic.
Right.
So I don't know, just shenanigans and garbage.
I had to sneeze again.
Oh, jeez, that was.
I tried like moving to like mute my computer. It did not work in time, clearly. So I'm just
They have
gonna own it.
Radio
own
stations
it.
have like a sneeze button. They have like a kill switch.
Sneeze twice. Let's just own it.
Cough button.
But it made them very quiet. So then, I mean, we could go and talk about the coup stuff for hours, but that's not our main focus. Let's do
I
a.
think we should talk about Allison. I
What?
think we should talk about how Doctor Doom has been cast, or not cast, but Doctor Doom has been confirmed to be in Black Panther 2. That will be the debut of Doctor Doom in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm freaking ecstatic.
I don't know
would-
much about Doctor Doom. Ben, do you know
I can't
anything?
say I do.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can't
Noah,
say I do either. I'm not too sure.
give us
So,
the rundown, Noah.
Doctor Doom is a. I know this isn't the politically correct term, but this comic book came out in the 60s. So he was like a gypsy child. I don't know what's the correct term to use now.
I'm not sure. Well,
I don't-
we can figure that out at a
We'll figure
different
it out,
date.
and then I'll just splice it over me saying that word. So
Yes, just
no
like
one
a
will know
nice
the
little,
difference.
just a cut of just your face.
No one will- my mouth movements will not match up with the sounds I'm making. Don't even worry. You're not having a stroke, but you should go see a doctor.
Yeah.
So Doctor Doom he grew up in these traveling camps, but while doing that, his mother, I guess, was some sorceress, some witch or something. So he learned all this dark magic stuff. And then he comes to America when he becomes an older man, and then he learns a ton. So he's this evil genius, super genius like Tony Stark, but he also has magic like Doctor Strange. So that's kind of how I think they're gonna use that character. Is they're gonna take like all the Doctor Strange stuff and be like, oh, he's the mystical side plus the technology side. So it's gonna be like Doctor Strange with an Iron Man suit is essentially how I think his power set is going to come off in the films. But what I'm more concerned about is, who do you guys think should be cast as Doctor Doom? Because so far, every Fantastic Four movie has had Doctor Doom in it, and every Fantastic Four movie has been total garbage. So, who do you think is going to be a good Doctor Doom?
So, okay, we have to establish
I have a
that.
bunch of I have some fan casts at the moment.
Well, so he has to be cool like Iron Man, but like
Cool like Iron Man, but you have to be able to believe him as a dictator and wizard.
Oh.
That's pretty.
So think like African dictator who is also master of the mystic arts and Iron Man.
Okay.
Tall order, but sure.
Right?
I'm trying to think of like all the TV shows that I'm like currently watching, if I could just pick a name from those. I'm also trying to think of like what scope are they going? If you're gonna have a good bad guy, you usually
He's gonna
hire like a
be-
big name.
Yeah, so he's going to be like the next Thanos level threat.
Sounds
Okay.
like-
So they're going to do, I'm going to say they're going to at least get 2 Avengers movies out of this. So,
Well, and also, is the Doctor Strange movie going to be related to that?
Doctor Strange movie should be, Allison, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All of the movies are related to one another. It's the world's most expensive TV show.
Okay, let's think.
I'll start you off here.
Well, I was going to say
Oh,
Matthew
yeah.
McConaughey, perhaps. He could be a
Matthew
good bad guy.
McConaughey is indeed on this list. Yes, Matthew McConaughey made
good
it on
call,
the
good
list.
pick.
So very good call. Very
Heck
good.
yes.
I will say this list is terrible. This is a bad list because there are people who have been cast in other roles in the MCU, and they're like, yeah, this guy would be a good Doctor Doom. I'm like, no, come on.
He's already taken.
He was already a bad. Yeah. So the first one is Mads Mikkelsen, who was Caecilius in Doctor Strange with the eyes. He's got the weird eyes. I feel like he would have been awesome, but
Yeah.
can't use him because
Was he also the guy in Star Wars that was like Jin's dad, or is that a different person?
He was indeed Jyn Erso's dad,
Okay.
but he was
Okay.
not the who was the guy? Who was the other dude?
Oh, the bad guy who then
the
turned
bad
up
guy
in
in
the
Rogue One.
in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know his name. Well, you know what?
know his
That'll be a voiceover here. I'll just move my mouth and you can put his name over.
What his name is? Okay.
Perfect.
The number 2 is Nikolai Coster-Waldau. He's Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones, who I think would be a very good choice. Just because did you watch Game of Thrones?
I did not watch Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
I didn't either, Ben. Don't feel
Allison
bad.
didn't either, and I still have to talk to her, so it's fine. Yeah. I don't know.
I know he was Jamie Lannister though. I think I've seen him in stuff.
He's my pick.
I'll be honest. I think I saw him in stuff whenever they interviewed what's her name, Gwendolyn
Christie Tracy.
Because she was Captain Phasma in Star Wars and was also Brienne of Tarth or whatever. So I would watch her stuff.
As the Hound.
Were they together?
You don't
Oh God, okay.
You don't want to get into it.
Never mind. I didn't ask. I don't want to know.
You don't want to get into it, Allison. You don't.
All right.
Just know that season 8 almost bankrupted HBO. They lost half of their viewers after season 8. They lost half. Well, it was 40%. But imagine going from overnight after Game of Thrones ends, you lose 40% of your subscribers. It's like, yeah. I would have fired Dan and Dumb and Dumber too, the 2 directors, but Viggo Mortensen was the other one. Jeremy Irons I thought would do pretty good. Christoph Waltz was the other one that was on here, but he's already been in the MCU if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. Jason Isaacs, I thought he would have been pretty good.
What else is he in? I don't remember him.
He was in Mad Men, I think.
Okay. I believe you.
Isaacs.
I think that
he was in he was Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter film.
Well, I know who you're talking about now.
Abington. He was Captain Hook and Peter Pan. I bet you didn't know that either.
I did not.
I'm not going to go through his entire
But that makes sense now that you say that, because I see him in my head and I'm like, oh yeah, that is the same guy as Lucius Malfoy. Lucius Malfoy.
Ian Glenn was Jorah Mormont in Game of Thrones. So it's pretty much most of the cast from Game of Thrones. All the male cast from Game of Thrones is on here. Plus Hugo Weaving.
Thrown in there for good measure.
Hugo Weaving was the Red Skull, so he's not going to be there either. So yeah. I don't know. But Matthew McConaughey was on there too. And then all these other guys I don't think are going to be.
Any choice in there, Ben, that you would pick?
Yeah, honestly, this is a little out of my element. I'm not a big
You don't know the cast of Game of Thrones?
No, I don't know the cast of Game of Thrones, so I don't know. Well, it's just some badass guy.
Yeah.
He looks like a mean, evil guy. That's what I like to see.
We just need to find another Robert Downey Jr. That's all we need. Somebody,
no big deal.
Somebody who's had a crazy coke problem in the past, and no, and we can get for super cheap. No.
Lock him into a contract forever.
Anyway, that's enough of the Doctor Doom stuff.
Awesome. So then I think that jumps us right into our main topic today. Because Ben, you were a college athlete as well. So I feel like college sports is like your jam. So what do you got for the news stuff? And then what do you want to talk about in terms of that game yesterday?
Well, I'm pretty excited because I'm a big college basketball fan. College basketball is now in full swing.
Woohoo!
Finally, after all the COVID restrictions, I'm a Oregon Ducks fan, so the season started while the wildfires are going on. So our season got pushed back about 3 weeks, but we're finally going. We're finally getting going.
Oh man,
I'm excited. And then the game last night, it was a great game. I kind of expected Alabama to dominate because they're very junior, senior heavy. They have a great coach.
I was gonna say, and they're Alabama.
Right. I mean, they're Alabama. Pretty much anything. Pretty much there's any reason why they should have won.
Yeah.
It was a very exciting game.
It was an exciting game. I will say this. While I was doing it, I was like, oh no, I also have to finish installing all the drywall so that I can put up my backsplash at the end of the week. So here's what happened with me. I watched the first quarter and it was very back and forth. It just felt like, to me, like pretty even match. Like, they were answering every point back and forth pretty much, or every point, every set of points, every touchdown. So in my head, then it just became like, whoever's the first person that can stop the offense, like whoever's defense can step up and stop so that they, go back the other way, then that's going to be who wins the game. So in my head, I was like, I probably have the second quarter. I can take that off and go install all my drywall. I come back, score is drastically different.
Right.
I'm like, what? I missed the second. Well, not all of it. I was in and out, but that was like the most important quarter for that game. And unfortunately, I did not get to see much of it. So I'm super bummed.
The second quarter, it was action-packed. I mean, I remember it started out pretty much right away with a fumble. Fumble. Ohio State was in scrimmage and they fumbled.
That was insane.
And then that's pretty much where it all went downhill for Ohio State.
It went downhill fast.
Yeah,
not good. They looked pretty sloppy after that.
Yeah,
which I don't know. Ben, did you watch some of the games before that too?
Yeah, I watched a couple of them. Yeah.
So when Ohio State was playing Clemson, oh my God. So I will preface this with saying that my husband is a huge Notre Dame fan. And originally, when I was in college, I didn't really watch college sports, didn't really care all that much. So I was just kind of like, oh, I'll be a Notre Dame fan, whatever. Unbeknownst to me that there's an entire backstory to this whole Notre Dame fandom. I could totally get into it, but I'm not going to. So, needless to say, we played Alabama. We did not do well, which I have thoughts and feelings and emotions about that. But that Clemson Ohio State game, I had been shitting on Ohio State for a while because they changed the rules to get in. They only played 6-7 games at that point. It was all real funky. Holy cow, did they blow my mind in that game. And I'm not a huge Ohio State fan. I'm not a huge Clemson fan. It was just a game that we were watching because I was like, well, I got to see what happens.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State played like the best game of their lives. It was like they knew everyone was watching them saying, hey, we
Look
don't
at
think you
these-
should be here. You got to
Oh,
prove
yeah.
it.
Rule breakers. They
Ugh.
get special treatment.
Yeah.
So when I saw the first quarter of this game, I was like, well, maybe that's who's showing up. Like maybe we get that level of playing
I
the whole
did.
game. They might have a chance, you know?
They did not show up. We left them on the bus.
Yeah.
Left them on the bus. That team did not want to show up.
No.
Yeah, so there were 2 injuries done during the game. I didn't really get much info on the second one, but the first one was the first play of the game, man.
Yep.
What happened there?
I think I might have missed that play, but I remember hearing about it. So, yeah, but I didn't really look into too much into it to see if he was okay today or how he was feeling or what exactly happened.
Yeah.
I didn't really get too many updates.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
sure there'll be more upcoming
Yeah.
in the following days, but I always feel so bad. And maybe you can talk a little bit about this because you were a college athlete for a little bit. I always feel so bad when college athletes get injured because that's like their whole future that they've set up, you know, like that's like all of those hours that they put into working. Like I just it breaks my heart every time because then it's like, well, what do you do after that if you get so injured that you can't be there for, you know, a scout that comes to a game or any of that kind of stuff? I feel so bad every time. And you know, football being the sport that it is, everyone gets injured all the time. And every time they have one of those like injury timeouts where they cut to
I
commercials.
think it's more so that football has more significant injuries. I think basketball definitely has a lot of more minor injuries where I know
that
there's
might be
a lot
true.
of, you know, hand issues and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, I feel like with basketball, it's a lot of like, you know, tweaked ankles, jammed fingers, you know, jammed wrists, stuff like that. You know, falling, hitting the ground hard or something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
none of
football
that
is vicious.
how much more game ending is an injury like that as opposed to like I'm playing football and I, you know, roll my ankle or something. Like I can't really just walk that off.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, I've been pretty close friends with a lot of football players from when I went down to Ripon College. Those guys are always jacked up, always juiced up. They're always off some painkillers. You know, they roll an ankle, they're like, "Oh, it's fine. Shake it off. We're back in."
Right.
Put some ice on it.
Yeah. So, but that, I mean, I don't know. I would say football is just a dangerous game for legs, for knees, for ankles, for heads, especially concussions and stuff like that.
All of your extremities.
Yeah.
Any part of you that gets hit, it's not good.
Oh yeah.
I'm clutching my imaginary pearls, like,
Yeah, right.
oh.
Yeah, definitely some weird stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
How do you overall, Ben, feel about the process in which college football like picks who's the Final Four, like who goes to the championship, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. It was a weird year for that.
This year, you know, it was a weird year. And I kind of, you know, I understand where Ohio State's coming from. But then again, I don't. I feel like maybe there were some other teams that maybe deserved to get in other than Ohio State.
Cincinnati.
Right. I mean, how many times has Ohio State made it? And let's let some other teams in.
Exactly. And this year, you know,
They're the New York Yankees of college football.
But I feel like in the end of the day, that I think they made the decisions that they made. I think they made them off like viewership, maybe because there's, you know, college football knows that Ohio State has a huge fan base,
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they put them in the playoffs. Their views go up. They change the rules a little to make sure they're in there.
Right.
So yeah,
the same can be said about like Notre Dame too.
Oh
Huge
yeah,
viewership.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was.
Notre Dame has a huge fan base too.
Yeah. But that was, I mean, the whole notion of should college athletes be paid. I think if we're going to change the rules solely to increase viewership, then yeah, I think you got to pay these kids.
Oh, absolutely.
I
absolutely agree. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's like a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we are just, I guess we're giving kids free education for it, but come on. I sign away, you sign away your likeness.
Right.
Yeah. No. I'm not signing away my likeness without getting a little something on the back end, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely agree, and I think it's different I think it's different between football and basketball because football, I want to say you have to be in college for like 3 years until you go to the NFL. Whereas in basketball, you can play 1 year in college and go straight to the NBA.
Oh, man.
Really?
So, yep.
Dang, I did not know that.
Like the guy we just drafted, the Bulls. Oh, he's 19 years old.
Shoot.
19 years old.
19.
Ugh.
Man.
Making me feel old. I just turned 21.
I was gonna say I have those moments where I look and I'm like, oh, what is he doing? And he's only 19. What am I
Oh,
doing? And I'm
my God.
27.
Yeah.
Like, darn
Yeah.
it.
I'll get that, but with like musicians where it's like, oh, there's a little girl playing piano like a freaking virtuoso. Great. That makes
Yes.
me feel great about myself.
Like, oh yeah, sending good vibes. Like, you're super cool. I hope you do well, but also like,
yeah. Also,
screw you a little bit
You suck.
because you're too good.
it's
So then, okay, I have a question, and it's going to sound kind of dumb because as much as I have ventured into college football only recently, college basketball is like a whole nother can of worms for me. The only reason that I know college basketball is because I attended Valparaiso University in my undergraduate, and they made it to
They
the
were-
dance like twice, I think,
Yeah.
while I was there. Is it called the dance? Am I even getting that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can call it the dance, but yeah, the national tournament, same thing. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they
Okay.
call it.
Okay. So they made it twice while I was there and it was super fun. Did they make it far? No. But did we get there? Yes. And it was great.
Did they make it far? No. Did it matter? It mattered even less.
Yeah. You're just so happy to be there. But so the same level of like, I guess like politics, does that happen in basketball in terms of like what leagues people are in and like what championships they play? Is that similar at all?
So here's the difference between football and basketball. Football, basically, recently they just started the playoff where they allow a certain amount of teams to make it. With basketball, it's a 64 team field.
Oh man.
64 teams.
There's no weeding of the just everybody's in.
Well,
Well, not everybody.
so like
just a
it's-
larger pool.
there's a lot that goes into it, but like they call them like the Power 5 conferences, which is like the Big 10, SEC, ACC, stuff like that. They get like auto bids basically. So if you do good in one of those conferences, more than likely you're going to make the tournament. Whereas, say, like a conference like Valpo is in, or I'm trying to think, like maybe Southern Illinois down in the Missouri Valley, they have to win their conference tournament to make the big tournament. So that's how that goes for the smaller teams. So basically, for the smaller teams, it's winning, you're in.
Got it. Okay. And so then the 64, that's like how many leagues there are then, or yeah, like I guess not how many leagues, how many spots there are.
Yes. So
Okay.
to start, that's how many spots are. There's or they call it the round of 64, then the round of 32, and then it just keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So okay.
Exciting time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So it's March Madness, so that we still are like a couple months away. So are they getting? It's not getting pushed back or anything, is it? Are they just kind of rolling with it now?
So what I'm hearing, basically what I've heard recently, is they're gonna do. Usually they do the whole tournament, like in regions. So like the teams that are in those regions don't have to travel like across the country and then travel somewhere else. So they're doing the whole tournament in Indianapolis this year. So all the teams are. There's going to be like a bubble
I was just about to ask that. Are you gonna set up a
type
bubble?
of thing,
You know it.
and it's going to be in Indianapolis. That's what I've heard so far.
Interesting. Indianapolis.
We'll see if their bubble's any better than the actual NBA bubble.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting keeping that many teams like, actually following the rules and like, keeping riffraff down to a minimum. But we'll see how it goes, because as much as I want it to be, wish this whole pandemic stuff away, I think we're gonna be living in this for a while. So
yeah,
it's not the new normal, but it's the new standard operating procedure, I guess.
Yeah, it seems to be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're still able to, at least attempt to get some kind of sports still.
Yeah, definitely.
Still up. But yeah, some strange times. Strange times for sports, strange times for movies, strange times in general. So
strange
Definitely.
times.
yeah. I don't know. So what else we thinking?
Yeah. What else you got? Any other fun sports updates?
Trying to think. The Bears lost.
Bears lost.
Oh,
What else is new? I meant
uh,
updates, Ben. Come on.
not things we already knew.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there. You know.
Yes. So our whole family.
Will
we
the
are-
Bears ever be good?
Well, honestly, the Bears are a quarterback away from being a very solid team. Yeah.
Can I just throw this out there? How about we get Trevor Lawrence?
See, that would be great for the Bears, but I think he's going to go number 1 overall.
I was
So
about to
think
say.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know,
think
I
he'll be
know.
on the board.
He's got what's called options.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be
Yeah,
ideal, though.
as much as I did not like him when he played for
Yeah.
Clemson, I was like, oh, that could be an interesting combo there. But again, and not because of his abilities or anything. He's just too good at what he does.
He's very good, very talented. I'm very excited to see what he does in the NFL.
Oh,
Mhm,
He'll
mhm.
be great.
Yeah. Oh, this just reminds me of like every time we go to like for those that do not know,
Which
for
is
non-family
everybody right
members, who's
now.
everybody, yeah. We would always go, like, I guess there was kind of a standing invite that no one really talked about. It was just like a thing we all knew that on Sundays you could like go to Nana and Poppy's house and there would always be football on or like any sports game. Our grandpa was someone who would put
So
on any sports game in the
Yeah.
background, any
Any-
sports thing.
anything involving sports. I remember one time it was like in between we were flipping back and forth between 2 games or something, and both of them were at halftime. I think it was something odd where we couldn't watch either of the games. So instead of watching a commercial, Poppy is just flipping through the channel. We're gonna find something. We end up watching some like United States bowling. I was just like, all right, Poppy, I guess we're gonna watch this dude crush this 7-10 split. Whatever, man. So we watched bowling for like 5 minutes, and it was like, oh, there's 2 other games on. Quick, let's change back.
Yep.
It's just sports are always on.
And he had his designated chair that he would sit in. Everybody would
Yep.
sit around him. He would be watching like front and center of the TV. Everybody else would be on the periphery. And here's what I remember most distinctly. Everyone else would be talking. They would be giving commentary on the game, talking about the players, all this other stuff. Poppy would be like zeroed in on the TV. I don't think he ever really even participated in anything. I couldn't even tell you what his favorite sport was, what he enjoyed watching the most, because he was just always watching. He was so
Always
focused. And then it was, up to his control. He would be like, okay, we're done with this one. We're going to the other one. And he was like, oh, okay, I guess we're switching. Like, that makes sense.
Yep.
But he always kept the Bears on. I will say that.
Always had the Bears on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I remember we watched a couple NHL. We watched the Blackhawks win Stanley Cup a couple times there. I remember one time we went there. It was during what year was it? I forget one of the years. But it was one of the years they won the Stanley Cup. And it was raining, or it was some kind of giant storm, and we had lost power like during the second period. And so we call up Nana and we go, Nana, do you have power? She's like, yeah, why? He's like, we're coming to watch the hockey game. It's like, oh, okay. Thanks for coming and saying hi. No, we lost power. We just need to see the game.
priorities.
So,
Yep.
there's a lot of stories of our relatives like that. So, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, that's good. So
I think
Ben, how do you think it went? Talking about sports stuff.
How do you think we did?
No, I think it's awesome. I love the concept. I'm always down for a good podcast. I love listening to podcasts and
I love
stuff.
podcasts too.
Yeah.
What's give me 2 that are like on your radar.
So when I used to go to the gym more, I've been slacking lately. I don't really want to talk about it, but
Also, there's like a pandemic going on.
I weighed myself. This is the most I've ever weighed in my life.
yeah, you and me both.
I'm like,
Me too.
So yeah, I've been so I don't know what you were gonna say, but I've been listening to the H3 podcast a whole lot. Love it.
Yep. I don't even remember the name of the one I listened to, but it's I basically open up my Spotify and it's right there and I just press it every time. But when I'd be like walking around the track or jogging or something, it's basically just they go into depth about all the basketball games that happened the day
Oh,
before.
nice.
That sounds
yeah.
wonderful.
So like they just give you the rundown, they give you opinions, they tell you what happened. And they do like
stop shop for all your basketball news.
yeah. And then the other one I do is about it's about like betting, like sports betting, because
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I'm a big DraftKings fan. You know, I'm always on DraftKings. I just think it makes sports more interesting, so that's why I'm always on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. They just give you the lines, you know, what they think, who you should pick, stuff like that. So
Nice.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
but yeah,
I had a friend in grad school that she didn't make a ton of money, but she made a decent amount of money doing
had a-
DraftKings
I
for
had-
football.
I had a friend who made a killing, man. He cleaned up.
Yeah.
yeah, if you got the touch, you got the touch. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I haven't heard from him in a while. I should
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh well.
Reach
I
out.
know what I'm doing after this.
Well, we'll have to have you back to talk more about March Madness stuff.
Oh yes, March Madness. We will definitely get you back for March Madness.
Because I can't wait to hear your
Absolutely.
commentary. If you ever want to throw commentaries up about any of the sports things, let us know, because we clearly don't know what we're talking about. That's why you are a resident expert. Duh.
oh yeah, March
Yeah.
Madness, best time of the year. It's my
Me
favorite time
too.
of the year.
Hell yeah.
March Madness. You also got St. Patty's Day.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't suck. Yeah, next time you start also one of those games. What is the game that like you and Heidi and Emily, you guys are always playing it? It's on the computer.
That's Among Us.
Among Us. So I haven't played it yet. Noah, have you played it
Fun
yet?
game. I haven't. I've played just a couple games like on my own, but I still haven't. I gotta download it. And we'll get some games in because it's unbelievably fun for like for this simple game.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very easy to play. It's a blast. I love it.
And everybody seems to be having so much fun doing it. So at this point, I'm like committing it to memory. I gotta watch the little commercial for it that says what it is. I don't know what it is yet, but everybody says it's super fun. So I want to be in one of those games. I'm giving myself maybe till the end of the month, maybe February. We can start a big one, and then we can all play.
Hell yeah!
Sounds good to me.
All right,
Sounds good to me.
Well, we have homework then. We got to get a game going.
I know. Thanks for being on the podcast, Ben.
Thank
We
you so
absolutely
much.
love you.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys so much. It was awesome.
It was
Oh,
good,
our pleasure.
good catching up this week with you.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool.
All right. See you guys later.
All right, bye.
Don't leave yet because we'll still talk to you. But
I know.